Hi, this is Natalia Modenova from DressX, which is your meta closet of digital-only clothing, NFT, fashion items, and AR looks. And today I'm here on Edge of NFT podcast, the one that brings you the cutting edge in looks and listens. Stay tuned.
Hi, NFT curious listeners. Stay tuned for today's episode and learn how the DressX ecosystem is creating and utilizing Web3 digital fashion, allowing you to create and share your meta closet of stylish threads.
Plus, how the first purchase of a disposable camera led to a life of creativity in the fashion world.
Also, Blur and OpenSea are in a battle for NFT marketplace supremacy. All this and more on today's episode.
Finally, Outer Edge LA, our awesome community-centric gathering, recently returned to Los Angeles March 20th to the 23rd of this year. If you missed out, here's a way to catch up on all the interactive experiences, discussions, presentations, and more. Simply go to watch.outeredge.live and register with your email address to get a full recap of over 60 captivating conversations and performances. Binge watchers are welcome. See you inside. Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Today's episode features Daria Shapovalova and Natalia Modenova, the dynamic duo behind DressX, the largest digital fashion store showcasing collections from renowned brands and 3D designers. Daria, the founder and CEO, has 15 years of experience in fashion and is known for putting Ukraine on the global fashion map. Prior to DressX, Daria established a fashion TV show, Mercedes-Benz Kiev Fashion Days, and the showroom Mordash. With an MBA under her belt, she moved to San Francisco to launch DressX alongside Natalia. Daria has been recognized in the Forbes 30 Under 30 Europe and BOF, Business of Fashion, 500 Most Influential People list. Natalia Modenova is the founder and COO. She has over 10 years of experience in the fashion industry. She has co-founded the showroom as well, called Mordash in Paris, and the International Conference Fashion Tech Summit with Daria. Natalia has been a curator and expert in various fashion and tech events, and her achievements have been recognized by numerous media outlets, including CNN, Forbes USA, and the Financial Times, and included in lists like America's 50 Greatest Disruptors by Newsweek and the Vogue Business 100 Innovators in Tech and Web3. Both Daria and Natalia are highly sought after speakers at prestigious conferences, sharing their expertise on the metaverse digital fashion and fashion tech. DressX is revolutionizing the fashion industry by integrating with the metaverse, Web3, AR, and other cutting-edge tech. They aim to demonstrate that some clothing can exist solely in digital form, promoting a more sustainable approach to fashion consumption. Their motto is, don't shop less, shop digital fashion. Hey guys, welcome to the Edge of NFT. It's great to have you here.
Cool, thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad we could finally do this show, right? We've known each other for a long time. Daria and Natalia were part of the original NFTLA Genesis version 1.0 and, have been fans of all the great work you guys have done in the space.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're also your fans.
We
Super
appreciate
happy
that.
we had the chance to make the wearable NFT for this latest conference in LA. So it's a lot of people who collected it, but someone who missed it, you missed it.
And that's how it goes, right? DressX definitely at the forward edge of everything that's happening in digital fashion, of course, and really pushing the envelope, really driving it. So many good things to dive into about that side of things, but we really want to start more at the beginning and talk about the origin story, kind of the foundation of this concept. I mean, you guys are making waves, making moves, pushing the forward edge of physical fashion. What inspired this shift toward digital fashion, everything that DressX has become?
Okay, let us start. And then next time when I ask a question, addressed to myself or Natalia, so it will be easier for us to answer. So basically, as mentioned in the intro, we both were in the fashion industry for a long time. And our previous project we did together, which was the showroom. And interacting with lots of brands, we understood that actually like there will be a new entry category for all the fashion brands. And we saw it in digital goods. And also because like digital goods were a part of like all the games vocabulary for so many years. So we kind of understood that there will be a need for our digital closets. That physical closets is amazing. Every person in the world almost have those. And we just want to move this experience into online. And we started before NFT became like a big thing. And we started pre-metaverse word. But still we had the vision for your digital wardrobe, what DressX is and has become and will continue to be. And obviously, we'll like with the advancement on the metaverse side and Web3 side and the notion of the NFTs and the blockchain, it became easier for making it this concept for people to understand it. But actually, it makes total sense as we all lived in like online environment during the pandemic, and it's understandable that some of our habits will stay. Those will be like spending time on social media, and we'll spend time on social media, we want to dress ourselves, and some of the clothing they can just exist for social media dressing, and some of those NFTs would dress people in their NFTs as well, so that's fun and cool too. And this is very different about the concept of the NFTs we were selling. That's exactly what Natalia have mentioned. That's exactly what we did with the NFT LA, and there are so many other partners we did it with. So that's how kind of the thought process behind DressX, but it evolved as well. But the good thing is that we were very consistent in our approach. We kind of told from the beginning, DressX is your digital wardrobe. It's continued to become one, and we elevate the experience.
Yeah, very
Maybe
forward
Natalia has
thinking.
something to add.
Yeah, it's fascinating to have these new markets and new domains, right? I mean, it's the digital world is offering us all sorts of new ways to conceptualize the economy and everything that we do, and it's both fun and intimidating to jump in there and try to trailblaze and create a new domain. So, congrats to you for seeing that coming and being a trailblazer there. And, speaking of all that, 2023 is there's still several months left here, a few quarters left in this year. And I'm curious here, Natalia, I guess we'll kick it over to you. What technologies are you seeing that's new on the horizon? And, given that, how can our listeners maybe get involved in the experience, firsthand?
Great question. And I think everyone would agree that 2023 is a year of AI. So here we go. We started January with our community-driven AI contest. In our Discord, we opened special channel where everyone could create and co-create with us and with Midjourney. And we actually already released some of the items that were co-created by the community with us, and it's available now inside DressX app. We already hold like 2 seasons of such contest, and it's really amazing because people can create, they all vote, and community decides what goes into production, what's being launched. And we don't call it DAO or anything like that. People really just engage with that, and I think we kind of prototype this self-governance in this way. We also involve and engage with different partners for it. We launched, actually today, we launched 2 items co-created with Tommy Hilfiger fashion brand and co-created with the community and DressX. And this is really amazing because it's available as AR skin, but also as a skin for Decentraland. And we take it even further because this is something that we've been working on since day one of DressX, and soon we will be releasing this DressX AI tech, which instantly changes your outfit on your pictures for social media. And this is something that is exciting. You can already go to DressX.ai and sign up to be an early tester with us. Of course, it's early days. It's going to be developing and improving, but definitely this is something that is in 2023 coming from us.
All right, already getting the alpha just the beginning of the show. I love it. So Daria, I'd love to learn more about your perspective on how digital fashion is shaking things up on a macro level. In particular, how is it redefining sustainability? How is it redefining, the purchasing decision process? What are some of the other aspects of the overall fashion industry that digital fashion is disrupting?
Yeah, great question, actually, because that's exactly what we see, that digital fashion and digital for brands is becoming an entry level for some of the new consumers. So, for example, like in the environments like Roblox and some other Web3 environments, actually there is a new generation that is discovering brands through digital goods, and it's fascinating to see. Like, I see at my home, I have 10 years old son. He's not very exposed to Web3, but he's playing a lot of Web2 games, and that's how he discovers brands through digital games. But I'm sure like Web3 will be on his horizon as well pretty soon. And also like the way how digital goods started to influence the runways, that's also what we see, because like traditional fashion sometimes lacks this innovation. And I think because from digital fashion it started to take the industry by storm, and designers picked it up and they started to implement it even on the runways during the fashion weeks and kind of adding more innovations. And we'll only see even more like generative designs inspired collections, something that Natalia had mentioned, and that's we at DressX are using like in a lot of capacity. And we see how brands are approaching us at DressX, and they want to find their way in the Web3 space, in the NFT space, because they understand that moving forward for the new generations, that will be an entry level of how they discover those brands first, and only then they will discover the physical goods. And I think that's the major change, that's like digital fashion and digital, how it is influencing the traditional fashion, that it becomes a new entry point to like a new generation of customers. And that will continue to be so. And especially like also on the advancement of the avatar side and how we start to use them on social media, this is also pretty big, and that will only continue to evolve. And definitely like in 2024, it will continue to be even a bigger trend, because in like Web3, Web2 environments, we use a lot of avatars, but we'll continue only to like use more. And some of the post-IPO companies will double down on that. So that's something that we will only see as the future, but we kind of at DressX already see it as a present because we're building it. But definitely this is forthcoming, and this also will influence the traditional fashion, let's say.
Yeah, let me ask you something. So, I've been doing a little bit of online shopping. Fortunately, the good type. I've lost a little weight, trying to figure out, some new spring clothes. And I've noticed that, the recommendations from sizing to fitting have improved on a lot of websites. Is there a relationship there with the digital fashion world that's a little bit more connected, where some of that data around what people like, how things fit on them, will translate to the physical fashion world?
Well, there are
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, there are two clear kind of distinguishment between use case of size recommendation and a recommendation of how it's gonna look at you. And we really solve the issue of kind of inspirational and also evaluation of what is gonna be like wearing the certain outfit. And this is something that kind of helps conversion if we talk about traditional fashion retail, but also it helps to make a more conscious decision about for you as a consumer, what you want to have, what you want to wear, and how you see yourself with a certain item without a need to actually order it to process a payment, to process the delivery, and then find out that it doesn't look like I was imagining that. So you can do it without any kind of frictions in the physical world, with just trying on the item in the digital format. And then if you really like what it looks like on you, that it's your style, you feel like that, you can order and see make final decision.
That's helpful because Ethan's in Chicago, Jeff's in Florida, and I was having these guys fly all the way to LA to like join me as I was trying on clothes. So this is going to be really good. Sorry guys, no more trips to LA for you guys.
Yeah, don't ask me to be your fashion consultant either. I don't know. Looks like you've got a couple better fashion consultants here, Natalia and Daria.
Yeah, I think so. So we talked about a few different macro concepts here, but let's drill down a little bit further and talk more about DressX's meta wardrobe. Like what's coming? What does the future look like here? Not just like in the next few months, but over the next few years. Like how do you see this like truly evolving? Natalia, let's start with you.
Well, we see definitely that everyone will have the meta closet, the wardrobe of digital fashion. We definitely see that every brand, luxury brand, mass market brand, fashion brand, and non-fashion brands as well will have a category of digital fashion, and it will be like an introductory category to the world of the brand, to the universe of the brand. Every fashion brand is trying to sell you a dream. And this is a kind of a bricks that this dream is built off, and you can have it, you can own it, you can wear it. Definitely there will be some interconnectivity with the physical items as well, through the NFC chips and like other technologies. So some of the items will live as digital twins, some of them will be just digital only outfits, and some of them will be like a complementary digital and physical items to each other. We are definitely moving there slowly but surely, because it's not just one technology that helps getting closer to this future. It's multiple things happening at the same time, and we are really excited to be kind of on a forefront of this and help others to onboard into the idea of digital fashion and start building it already today.
And what I can add, it's an opportunity like to share your closets. It's really amazing. That's what fascinates us. As mentioned, like it's unlikely that you can invite everyone to see a physical wardrobe, but you can definitely share your digital wardrobe with anyone in the world. And it's fun, it's cool. And also the opportunity to gamify this experience. This is something that we're working on right now. And that's exactly as we see as your meta wardrobe, your digital wardrobe, because it can be even more fun and a good complement to your physical wardrobe. So some of the things will coexist in both. Some of them will only exist in either of those, but definitely it will be a nice gameplay in between.
Yeah, it's a definite, right? It's a fact. I think we all agree on it. I think a lot of people might be like, oh, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Everybody on this show, I think, can say very definitively the train has left the station. It's going to happen, and continuing to build the technology out now while we're still very, very early in the process is so critical. So kudos to you for doing that, because it's really important.
Yeah, and
we love the process.
There's certainly a handful of people beyond us in the Zoom call that think this stuff is important and going to happen. You guys have a recent fundraising amount of $15 million to advance the interoperability of DressX as a platform. Wow, right? That's a big deal, and it shows a lot of support and momentum for what's going on here in digital fashion, and setting a strong foundation for the future here. Maybe kick it over to Daria here. What does this raise unlock for you to be able to create now?
Yes, obviously it's a great achievement and a big milestone for the company, because it's a Series A, especially given the market situation. It's amazing that the company has proven that it's a very prospective player to be able to raise now. And the fund that led our Series A is Greenfield Capital, so the biggest early stage blockchain fund in Europe. They're based in Germany, and they invest in various companies. Series A is still considered to be kind of early stage, but more to, I would say, middle stage, because we already kind of built a lot of things in the process. And it's definitely like, here was a nice click between the opportunity between the fund and how they research for the companies and DressX, and our already an ability to evolve from zero to where we were at the time of the fundraising. And we definitely want to continue to invest in our infrastructure and all of the technologies that Natalia have mentioned previously, and obviously continue to build the DressX community. And the kind of the biggest idea for the company from the day number one is to sell 1 billion digital goods, fashion digital goods. And that's exactly like the aim that we want to continue to be achieving, and then building everything to achieve that finally, and working with lots of partners, obviously in Web2 and Web3 and different brands. So the fundraise will support all of the partnerships and definitely the infrastructure first and foremost, because definitely something that we've reviewed here together at the podcast, building the meta wardrobe is still about the future, but as we know, the future is now. It's just not evenly distributed. And that's exactly what we managed to do with the new fundraise. And we are very happy with all of our new partners that participated.
The question is, who's that quote? Who is that quote from? Is that like, do you know who that quote is from? The future is now,
future
but
is
it's
now,
not
but it's
evenly
not
distributed.
evenly distributed. There is a scientist who told
I'll
that,
find
but
it out.
I
Find out. Yeah,
don't remember his name
that's a
now. But
good
we can
one.
Google. If you're sitting in front
We
of your
can
laptops, you can
certainly
guys
Google.
definitely Google.
Yes, I'll figure it out.
Or
Well,
ask
good one.
ChatGPT, either of those.
Well,
William Gibson, I've Googled, sorry, ChatGPT. Old habits.
you know, ChatGPT is behind about a year, so any new data we have to wait for to be loaded up anyways. So sometimes Google's still gonna win out, but Google's coming up with their own product, right? Which will be interesting to see how that faces off. And alas, would love to sort of talk a little bit more about some of these partnerships that are being unlocked here. Obviously, we've worked together for 2 years now, and that's one example of the many partnerships you're doing with different companies in the Web2, Web3, artist collaborations. Any sort of specific collabs coming up that we should be on the lookout for that you can share at this point in time officially? Natalia, you want to kick us off there? And anything up your sleeves that we could talk about?
We are this type of company who prefers to build something first and then announce. I remember so many times us coming to kind of rejecting to announce a partnership until we build something, you know. So we kind of still in this mode, but definitely we expand in our partnerships with Roblox, with Meta, with all their avatar fashion that is coming. We continue our partnership with Snap and deepen it, of course, especially considering their recent Snap Partner Summit announcements. We already integrated, as mentioned, the Midjourney tools in our internal and external pipeline. This is super exciting. And this year we started with multiple collabs with brands like Tommy Hilfiger, like Ipsa, which is a beauty brand, and we will do more in a beauty space this year. So watch out. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, continue.
Those are
Partnerships and collabs are important part, but also developing our own product is a very big priority for the 2023.
very, very cool. Yeah, definitely have to balance both things. And, you know, I would say by the names of the partnerships you've done so far with some of the juggernauts in the space and in technology, I'm sure we can look for more big news to come, and congrats on all that success.
Thank you.
All right. And so we got to look beyond just the world of DressX, of course. You have lots of partnerships and collaborations with other folks, but let's go beyond even what we talked about here today. For each of you, what projects have you been keeping an eye on? What inspires you or gets you pumped about the Web3 space? Again, outside of even the people you're directly partnering with. Daria, let's start with you.
It's probably the opportunity because we're creating this Web3 together, right? DressX is one of the first companies in the space, and the ability to create the industry that is like not really in the moment of giving birth to itself and to the major stakeholders. I think this is the most inspirational part. And also to be able to bring those brands that Natalia have mentioned and that we all know that are coming from like traditional world into Web3. I think that's an inspiration on its own because we can create a lot of things and life is all about creation and co-creation. So that's what continues to inspire us because we can kind of navigate the market and tell the brands that this is like best way for you to enter this market, and that's how we would see this brand entering the Web3 and the metaverse space. And obviously receiving these great comments from our users, that's what continues to inspire to see the product, to be approached by people and receiving the comments that they love using DressX or like they tried it out and the concept of digital fashion, because it also comes from our background that we're both Ukrainian. You probably know that we're coming from Ukraine, and in our childhood it was like not evident that you can go and purchase something luxurious. You know, it's a very different market there, and an opportunity to give to everyone this opportunity to wear like even brands, at least in digital realities. This is kind of so cool because it's a real democratization of fashion without going into mass market. So I think that's what is really inspirational, and the sustainability factor, we can really like change things in the sustainability part in the way that not all the clothes should exist in physical, like some of them can exist in digital only formats. And this is so exciting because that can save the resources for some of the brands, and they will continue still to monetize because they're still selling those goods, right, just in digital formats. And so yeah, this is the change of the perception and the opportunity to kind of rebuild a lot of things in the fashion industry and in digital fashion using Web3 tools. This is amazing, but maybe Natalia will add something on top of that.
No, of course. Yeah. Yeah. The energy of the space and all that you're getting from the space is serving as this major inspiration for you. Yeah, Natalia, let's head to you. And I'll ask, are there any specific companies out there that are inspiring you or projects that are inspiring you that you're not yet partnering with?
On a personal level, I'm a proud holder of Murakami clone, and definitely I'm following whatever is going on in that universe for sure. And the founding team are friends, so it's really great what they've built so far, and it's nice to see where it is all going, inspiring a lot of people, but also showing that it's not the only way, and there are lots of opportunities of how to shape whatever you want to build and how you see the future of brands, of fashion, of IP, of wearables. And we actually recently did the drop with Colton Rain, which I think gonna be a very strong kind of player in this whole Web3 fashion universe. Definitely we are close with everyone who is building anything in the space, from like the Fabricant to Dematerialize to like Red DAO people. It's all kind of big contribution into the future of the industry that we are kind of getting to together. And speaking of the other projects, really it's been a kind of quiet time on one hand, but on another, I think whoever is still around, kudos to them. And it's like 10KTF and a bunch of different projects that are around. It's just I think it's time to see what is a really kind of sustainable approach in terms of building it as a long term, not just a project, but as a long-term business, as a long-term value creation machine for all of the participants, for the economy in general. This is how I look at it, rather than just overnight kind of hyped success and then not knowing where it is going next.
Yeah, well, this is the time, right? This is, I think people are heads down building right now, as we know, a builder's market as things are shaking out here for the future. But really appreciate each of you sharing so much about what DressX has been up to and will be up to here in the future. I think your staying power has been demonstrated. It's also helped meaningfully by a big capital infusion, so I'm sure that helps take some weight off of your shoulders and gives you additional bandwidth to experiment and build and get out there and really mix it up. So again, kudos for that, especially with everything swirling around us right now. It's a huge accomplishment, and I know we'll set you up for success going forward. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I think that wraps up segment 1, and we have a couple of different moving pieces here that happen at the end of segment 1. Daria is catching a plane to go continue to spread the word for DressX. So we'll say adieu to you, Daria, and thank you so much again for your time here. And then Josh also will be peeling off for a little bit of travels, and we'll be back a little bit later in the episode for one of our later segments. So thanks to each of you for all your contributions. We appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. It was a
All right,
pleasure.
Thanks, y'all. All right. And so
And then there were 3.
Yes, there were. So as I mentioned, we're moving on to our next segment. And Natalia, this is a segment that we call Edge Quick Hitters. It's basically just a fun way for us to get to know you a little bit better individually. And so these are our 10 set questions. We're looking for short answers, single words or a few words, but we might ask for a little bit more detail here or there. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, let's go. Question number 1. What is the first thing you remember ever purchasing in your life?
Oh, I think it was a photo camera.
Oh, nice. The kind of thing that you still have sitting around somewhere?
No, I don't. It's kind of a pretty disposable one.
Yeah.
I had a mechanical one, like really cool, old school, but didn't want to use it. And that one I still kept, but this was one of this first like automatic cameras.
Nice. Good. That's a cool first purchase. I like that. All right. Question 2. What's the first thing you remember ever selling in your life?
Wow, that's a good question. And I don't remember the first one, but the largest one was a collection of one of the designers to one of the huge multi-brand stores.
Oh, cool. That must have been an amazing feeling.
Yes.
All right. Question number 3. What is the most recent thing you purchased?
Whoa. That was a present actually for the friend. Yes, it was a present just from their wish list. It was just yesterday at their baby shower.
Have you given it to this person? Yeah.
It's coming, it's flying, it's delivering.
Let's go. Could you share what it is, or is it going to ruin the secret?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. What is
Baby
this?
shower. Baby shower.
Yeah.
We
Baby
got that.
shower present, that's
Yeah, just one of those. I got you. Ethan and I have been involved in those, even if it was on the outside of it.
Probably we wouldn't even be able to have a good guess being the guys here. Yeah.
I know. All right, we'll move on then. Question number 4. What is the most recent thing you sold?
Oh, I have to check if anything on the Real was sold, because I sent a bunch of stuff, and here we go to the fashion again. To the longevity of the items and the need to keep it for a long time or not, and having the possibility to have a secondary market for things that have a value still, but maybe you don't need it anymore. So yeah, really, I think it's great how like the Real and other platforms embraced it and developing. So I guess it was one of those like MSGM gold pants or something like that.
Awesome. Not surprised it circles back to digital fashion. It's all good. Well, we'll go with question 5 then, and that is, what is your most prized possession?
Oh my God. Can we skip and get to the next one? I'm gonna
get to
think
go.
for too long.
No, okay, yeah, no worries. You don't have to. You don't have to answer that one. We can skip. Everybody gets one pass.
Would you want to go back to it or skip it entirely?
Or maybe we skip. Because
Okay,
I'm
no,
gonna like process this on the back of my mind.
We'll say her most prized possession is the ability to skip when she wants to skip.
Yeah,
It's
the
a-
freedom, denied the possession, but definitely freedom is a greatest value for me.
absolutely. All right, question 6. If you could buy anything in the world, something digital, physical, a service, an experience that's currently for sale, what would it be? What are you thinking about buying?
Well, right now I'm like really thinking about this processing power and some data center. I think would be a nice purchase.
Hmm, for sure. All that AI, you got to have somewhere to process the darn thing, right?
Exactly.
The first data center we've had.
It is. It is. It was the first.
But see, if you could buy anything, you might as well just go ahead and buy Amazon Web Services in its entirety.
Yeah, it's not quite for sale though, I think, right? Maybe
Yeah, it's
anything.
like can you buy out the publicly traded company?
Theoretically, I guess, right? I guess every stock is basically for sale.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Question 7. If you could pass on one of your personality traits to the next generation, what would it be?
Ooh, I think it would be uh, just like never stopping.
Yeah, persistence,
Yes.
definitely. I think we've seen that in the short time we've known you here the last couple of years. Most definitely on display. Well, let's flip that. Question 8 is if you could eliminate one of your personality traits from the next generation, what would that be?
I still consider myself a lazy person, so the laziness.
Ah, I got it.
The lazy never stopper. That's a new one.
That is
Okay, I can tell you. Another thing is like FOMO. It's a
Mm.
big driver on one hand, but on another is sometimes like too much.
Yeah, it can kind of like rear its head in this space in a number of ways, right?
I think I have a new term because because you have FOMO, but then what if the FOMO thing you had FOMO for, you're like, oh no. Like, why did I even want that thing, right? I stayed up all night to like get it,
It
score
can
this
be
NFT.
another part of Inception movie,
Yeah.
Is your term FOMO no? Is that
I
it?
think it's
Ethan? It's
no
FOMO
mo.
no?
Oh no mo. Something like that.
What? FOMO no mo? FOMO oh no. Got it.
FOMO, oh
Okay.
no. There you
Yeah.
go.
Nice. All right. Question 9. What did you do just before joining us on the podcast today?
I was finally answering emails because all the mornings I had calls. We have a team in Europe and we have a lot of partners in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So mornings are always for them.
Mhm.
And finally I got to my emails.
Are you an inbox zero person? Do you like to keep that inbox clean or no?
Honestly, I would love to, but I'm not sure if I can get to 0.
Ever, right? Yeah.
It's just
Never.
too many things going on.
Never ending battle. I get it. All right. Last one. Question 10. What are you going to do next after the podcast?
After the podcast, honestly, I have another call.
Got it.
So it's Monday and we are kicking off the week. It's a lot of things on a plate and it's very exciting.
Oh, all right. Sounds like something's brewing over there.
Yes. We
Cool.
actually, next time we connect, you'll see us wearing a lot of like cool accessories.
Oh, okay. Little hint there, y'all. Check it out. Okay, well, that's Edge Quick Hitters. Natalia, thanks so much for sharing with us. We appreciate it. Ethan, the word on the street is we have some hot topics to discuss.
Yeah, let's hit one or two. We could do that.
Yeah.
Number 1, hot topic. Number 1, Bored Apes CryptoPunks fall below $100,000 as NFT momentum stalls. floor prices for blue chip NFT collections, CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club both fell well below 100,000 worth of ETH this week for the first time in months, as the broader NFT market slumped to trading stats not seen in years. All right. Well, I mean, it is interesting that those NFT prices would stall out a bit, especially because there's been a bit of a, or even more than a bit of a run up in terms of the price of ETH and Bitcoin. It's quite a lot higher than it was at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I don't know what we think about this. Blue chips, is it a buy opportunity, or are they going lower, or what do we think about this? Do you have yourself a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape, Natalia? And if not, are you ready to grab one?
I don't have one of those two. But yeah, actually, it's just a good time for everyone who really believes in the space and the projects to grab one. So I'm not doing it just yet. So the floor is still pretty high, right? Of course, it dropped, but let's go out there and ask who's ready to buy, right?
So you didn't put that in your investment deck, that the 100,000 of that 15 million is going to go towards a CryptoPunk?
I guess we can wait for either a new project or another floor, because we don't know how long the winter will be.
I know, right? But what's funny is, talking about FOMO no or whatever, that like in 12 months, we're going to be looking back at this conversation
Right,
saying,
we have it on
gosh, I should have
record.
grabbed one of those when it was below 100K.
I know. Yeah,
Right?
all the time.
It's always how it is. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. It's the ebb and flow of the market. Obviously, these projects aren't going anywhere. In general, they're not going anywhere. The popularity is not going anywhere. It's really just, are you willing to pull the trigger? Which is so hard to do when it's a price point that's that high. Just in general, it's a big dollar amount for almost anybody. So, but interesting.
Yeah, you never know too with these floor prices, right? I mean, that's the floor price probably on the open market too, but chances are you might be able to negotiate a lower price with, if you did a direct sale, right? Find an owner that's ready to let it go. But yeah, prices ebb and flow. Is it time to buy? Who knows? Would you rather get a real estate or a CryptoPunk? I don't know.
Yeah, but if you look at, I don't know, what about your circles, but I see that the second purchase after successful purchase of NFT is real estate. So
that's the move.
Exactly. So it does the question, what comes first, right? And what comes second? And if there is a real estate there, then you go with NFT.
Yeah. Before I move to the next one, just last comment. I think, the interesting thing about the Bored Apes, especially, and the CryptoPunks get wrapped into this too, is you're not just buying a piece of art, you're buying into a community, right? And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that a lot of people who own those items are most, curious about, excited about. And so it's also that question of, is now the time you want to enter into that community? And to be honest, even though you spent $100,000 around, there's probably some work involved. Now you're getting involved, you're being a part of that community, kind of contributing, showing, that you care and want to contribute. So it's definitely a complicated decision. All right. Anything else on that? Or should we move to the next one?
Let's roll.
Okay. Next up, OpenSea Pro retaliates, blurs dominance in NFT market. So OpenSea Pro was rebranded and unveiled to court active traders from Blur. The latter was eating away at OpenSea's market share since its launch last October. The counteroffensive proved somewhat successful, as data suggests that the new polished NFT aggregator has surpassed Blur by daily transaction count. I have to say, this kind of reminds me of LooksRare, right? I mean, LooksRare many months ago came on the scene, and it was this kind of decentralized version of OpenSea, and everybody was really excited. And you had the Looks token, and that was, sailing. And I'm pretty sure that the activity on look-through is pretty minuscule at this point, and OpenSea has maintained its dominance for the in comparison to, say, a competitor that came in and looked like it was threatening. What do you think, Natalia? I mean, I guess a question for all of us is, even though OpenSea is pretty well established, there's certainly a history of well-established tech type businesses that do get superseded. Like look at a MySpace or like a Internet Explorer or something like that. There was a point at which something came along that just did better.
On a personal level, I like Blur. And I believe that, of course, there should be a space for kind of not just a competition, but competition for improvement, competition for like progress. That's how even kind of monopolies become better. If there is a competition, they get better. So I think OpenSea is lucky to have such a rival, and I think there should be a space for everyone anyways, because there's still always a niche. There's still always another community. There is still someone who kind of needs another way to do certain things. So that's
it's
how I
interesting.
look at it.
It's an interesting positive look at competition, right? If you're the leader, it almost is like kind of like a nice market research about what you ought to invest in next, right? If that is the right direction for you, right? Sometimes you just focus on what you're focused on, but if a competitor comes along and they're doing something that's drawing users away, it's a good indicator that should go at the top of your build list, right? What do you think, Jeff? Are we going to see someone surpass OpenSea as the lead here, or have they secured it for decades?
It's possible, but I take Natalia's view. Competition tends to be good. It pushes you to be innovative and develop and stay on your toes, to avoid complacency, which will creep in no matter what if you don't have some kind of drive to improve. And it's great when it's market conditions, competitors, or dynamics, around supply and demand that drive this innovation. That's what's great about just having this like open competitive environment. So look, yeah, they were developing quickly. They were working on OpenSea Pro, and then there you go. They've released it, and they're staying on their toes. And I think based on like what we've seen with certain things and how they've navigated challenges, whether it was kind of like the insider trading stuff they dealt with a while ago, or this, and really accelerating a release of something that seems to be a product that the market's responding well to. Like, I don't know, they're making it happen over in OpenSea. So I think they will continue to be a dominant player. That said, also, like, think of in the AI market, right? Like Google and what they're doing with AI right now, because they saw what was happening and what the potential was with Chat GPT to completely surpass it, right? Because people now use Chat GPT for the same search stuff that they would have otherwise used Google for. So they have Bard, and that's in beta right now, but they accelerated the release of that, and it's gonna keep them on their toes. And I think that's exactly what's happening here. So it's good to see OpenSea respond to that and deliver something cool in response, because I think it ups everybody's game. So that's my take.
Yeah, good comparison too. I mean, I know Google's been working on AI for decades, so it is interesting to see someone come up and say, "Oh, hey, we're going to jump in here and make a splash." Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Does that sound good for hot topics? Should we visit
I think
another?
so.
Should we move on? All right, let's move on.
I think that's good. Those are some good ones. Yeah.
All right, next segment here that we love to do is a bit of a shout out. And so, Natalia, any projects, collaborators, friends worth a mention that you'd like to shout out before we move on?
I would like to bring up Diverge, which is a digital fashion brand. Also, I mentioned already Colton Drain. Really excited how those two making waves around.
Awesome.
All right.
Now, speaking of competitors, is there some competition there, healthy competition, or is it just kind of like a totally different totally different domain?
I wouldn't say so, because DressX is ecosystem, and the first drop of Diverge happened on DressX. This Cult and Rain drop happened on DressX recently. So really more collaborators here.
Beautiful. Well, that sounds awesome.
That does indeed. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. So we really appreciate it, Natalia. Before we let you go, though, we got to make sure everybody understands where to follow DressX, where you prefer to send people to become part of your community. Where should we send them?
Well, if you are deep on the NFTs and really interested on getting some on-chain fashion, follow whatever we are doing on our Twitter, or directly at nft.dressx.com. And actually we have some free mint there. Try to find it, and you will be able to wear it right into DressX app if you log in with the same MetaMask, of course. Don't forget to link up the same account. If you are more on a AR part and just like fun fashion for social media, of course, follow us on Instagram. It's DressX account. And if you want to create with us, welcome to Discord.
Perfect.
All right. Beautiful. So now we know where to find you, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you again real soon. And also wanted to mention, you're going to be seeing a bunch of new faces actually as we're starting to pull together additional team members that you'll be seeing on this show, folks that haven't actually participated in this show before, some new hosts that are going to be coming in and mixing things up. And so we're really excited about that. So there'll be spots where I'm not here, Ethan's not here, Josh not here, and we'll have some other people coming into the show, members of our team and others that are going to help continue to drive this Edge of NFT train forward, along with some other things that we can't announce quite yet, but we will very soon. So everybody get excited for that. Ethan, did you have one more thing?
Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah, we're not going to spell our own alpha too early. That was a good call, Jeff.
No worries.
No, but
right,
yeah, Jeff will be pulling back to do focus on some other stuff with the project. So we may see even less of him in the future, and we appreciate his presence and his deep radio voice.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Well, look, I think we've reached the outer limit at the Edge of NFTs for today. Thank you for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventures on this starship. So invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey all so much better. How? Go to Spotify or iTunes right now, rate us and say something awesome. Then go to edgeofnft.com to dive further down the rabbit hole. Also, look us up on all major social platforms by typing Edge of NFT with no spaces, and start a fun conversation with us online. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great NFT content. Thanks again for sharing this time with us today.
The views and opinions expressed on the Edge of NFT podcast reflect solely those views and opinions of the show creators and its guests. We're learning as we go, just like you. Please make sure to do your own research. Our podcast is not financial advice. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk.